Hey, I'm Ray Latif with BevNET. I'm here with John Craven. We're at Natural Products Expo West 2017 here in Anaheim, California. John, this show was a really great exhibition for the growth and development of dairy alternatives and plant-based milks.
Definitely. I think, this year in particular, we saw kind of a maturation of the products that were out there, and specifically, they've kind of evolved from being, single-serve, ready-to-drink products into more and more going after this sort of multi-serve set that's in the dairy case. So, I think that's a pretty big shift from, again, what we saw a couple of years back, all about flavors and really kind of almost being like a smoothie type product. So I think that was kind of what we saw.
Yeah, definitely. The number of new product launches that were in multi-serve format were pretty plentiful. Starting with Califia Farms, they've introduced that new home-style organics, or that organic home-style milk, 3 different varieties. They're definitely going after that dairy case and also going after that consumer that's looking for organic products.
Definitely. I mean, Forager's another one that, they've recently moved over to UHT from HPP, and, they now have a product that it's a lot kind of cleaner tasting and more smooth. So also, a new multi-serve bottle.
Yeah, what's interesting about both Califia and Forager is that those products are organic, and previously in this space it had primarily been New Barn's territory with their organic nut milks.
Right. I think they're recognizing organic is certainly something that consumers want. Another product that's doing that on the nut milk side as well, Malk. I think they're the lone brand that's still HPPing, has spent a ton of money to get it right. Product seems like it's, kind of at a good, mature state as well.
Right. In terms of regional players, Malk is growing really, really quickly. But we did see some other smaller regional players with their multi-serves as well. Three Trees and Pop and Bottle, both introducing multi-serve lines that look really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's interesting to see these smaller brands trying to play like in that, part of the store. Clearly it's a whole different challenge than, the single serve, but obviously that's where the opportunity is at.
Yeah, we also saw a couple coconut milk products come out. Vita Coco launched with 2 different varieties. Really interesting to see them trying to go after that dairy case as well.
Honestly, I give them a lot of props for, coming out of the gate with a really clean formulation. It's coconut water based, makes great use of the Vita Coco brand equity, and, I think it's honestly probably the best coconut milk I've had to date. You've got all these products that, the flavor profiles, the ingredients are all quite different. If you look at something like the Vita Coco product, or, the Oatly oat milk, or even things like Ripple that are kind of trying to re-engineer milk from plant-based ingredients. It's really, I think, a pretty neat time where the category and the industry are, I think, still trying to figure out where this all is going to go.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Ripple, because they, along with a few other brands, recently came out with a new dairy coffee creamer. They have a half and half product. They're also launching a kids line that's going to go into Target, this 8-ounce carton. But we also did see quite a few other brands get into this coffee creamer space.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those spaces like I think a lot of people in the beverage industry don't really think about all that much. But it is, a good application, certainly for those products.
Yeah, Califia has had their one out for a while. They recently revamped the line. Malk came out with a barista blend as well. I think New Barn has a new product as well. On the regulation kind of front, we did see, like you mentioned, a few different brands, or most brands at this point, get away from HPP and are going into pasteurization. We're also seeing a few different brands kind of get away from calling themselves milks. Malk in particular removed the word milk from their entire packaging. An interesting move for them.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see that word go away. It's probably one that lawyers would recommend just for class action lawsuits and stuff like that. But I think that's also a sign of just where these brands are and where the category is in terms of the confidence and awareness in the product too. So there's less need to latch on to dairy, and it's okay to be, plant-based or whatever you're positioning your product as. So
right. And on the single-serve front, a lot of the brands that are releasing new products and new product launches are coming out with really protein-heavy formulations. Koya is one in particular where it's almond milk-based, but has a ton of protein in each product.
Right. I think that is, the observation I had as well, is that the single-serve products, which, again, I was sort of before saying about how they were more like smoothies. They were about flavor, sustenance, but as with many beverage categories, the single-serve products there seem like they have to have something else.
Right.
So they have to have some sort of functionality to it. Plant-based protein being sort of the most obvious one. There were some that are mixing it with things like coffee where, you've got caffeine. But I think that's kind of where we're going to see, single-serve products in that space go.
Yeah, I mean, Califia Farms recently revamped their protein line, which was almond milk-based, and they added maca root and up the protein content as well, really looking for that consumer that's getting that wants that 8, 10, 12 grams of protein per serving.
Right, for sure. I mean, it's just, again, really neat to see this sort of divergence of those two, single-serve versus multi-serve. So.
Yeah. All right, that's it for trends in dairy alternatives and plant-based milks here at the show. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for much, much more coverage from Natural Products Expo West 2017.